A new study shows Americans feeling more comfortable with their savings compared to about a year ago. Still, they're not doing a better job at saving for a rainy day. Bankrate says 21% of working Americans aren't saving a single penny of their income.
It's always good to know that the money's there, but even then, I'm not completely frugal. Money's there to spend it.
Really? All right. Well, it depends on who you ask. If they're not saving, why do people feel better about their nest eggs? Well, a financial analyst says one reason is job security. But how about this? 1/3 of consumers making $75,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck. So we called in Dan, our money guy, to explain.
The more you make,
why?
The more you spend, right? When you saw this, I
emailed you immediately.
Right away and said, we got to do this.
We have to talk about this.
And it is so true. I work with people every day that make a lot of money, and they're broke. They're broke. And there's a couple of reasons, right? Obviously, you're trying to keep up with the Joneses and the next door neighbors and all that. But really, it comes down, when you look at people's budget, it comes down to a couple things. It comes down to your meals and your wheels. The average new car payment is now $490 a month.
Wow.
That used to be a mortgage. The average person, the average consumer, spends about $250 a month eating out.
Oh, Sean's guilty because he's always like,
we're all guilty,
me and Kelly went out last night to dinner.
Yeah, we're all guilty of that.
Yeah.
But, so look, without eating cat food, staying in your basement, there are ways that we can painlessly, somewhat painlessly, tuck some money away for that emergency.
How much do you think, speaking of emergencies, do people have on average in their savings account?
So they should have about 3 months of living expenses tucked away. But 68% of consumers have less than $1,000 tucked away in savings.
That's so scary. So if anything happens, what do you do?
Doom and gloom, right?
All right, so help us save money.
Hi, Mom, I need some money, right?
Seriously, I need a loan.
Here's a few tips. Right away, we know this one because we talk about it a lot on the show. Use a budgeting app. There's so many good ones out there on your smartphone that are free. We like Mint on good day, but there's a bunch of them out there. So put it, if for no other reason, just to know where your money goes, right? So take a look at it and say, oh, now I know where my, how many times do you say, I get paid, where's my money going?
Always.
Right?
Or you're always like, I get paid and then I have to pay someone else.
Yes, me too. So put a budgeting app on your phone. Next, go used versus new. If you really do need a car, check out used cars. You'll save about half. About 18 grand or so is the average used car versus over 34 grand.
Especially
for the average new car.
It's always said, once you drive off the lot, it's like worth what?
Your most expensive drive with a new car is that first drive off the lot, right? Because it depreciates so quickly.
And what about parents like you whose teenagers are now turning 16, 17 driving age, and they think, oh, let me go get my daughter or son a new car. They deserve it.
Big mistake.
Right?
So I manage a fleet of vehicles. I've got 7 vehicles in our fleet because of all my kids and stuff. So I'm a full-time fleet manager. Buy them a used, safe car, big, lots of steel. Who cares about the Jeep? They'll get that later.
Okay.
Or a little sports car.
Let them pay for that fancy car later.
I like to eat out. You guys love to eat out, right?
I do.
Come on. So we all want to do that. There's a cool little app. I like to bring you free apps that are fun to use.
I love them.
There's one called Spotluck. Have you tried that one yet?
No.
Spotluck. My daughter's boyfriend turned me on to this one. It's a free app. Spotluck. Check it out. Put it on your smartphone. Here's how it works. GPS knows where you are.
Okay.
You spin the wheel for free. No membership or anything like that. And it tells you all the restaurants in your area and gives you discounts. No coupons, no membership fees, none of that stuff. So you use the coupon right in your area. I used it in Fishtown a couple weeks ago. Worked.
Spotluck.
Called Spotluck. It's free to use. The merchants love it because it brings you in the door.
Sort of like Potluck.
Yeah.
I got it.
All right, so check that one out, and you'll save up to 25% on your restaurant bill using that one.
Now tell the truth. Is he giving you these apps to try to get some cool points?
Yeah.
Like, I know. He's like, yeah, you thought about that too, right?
Smart man.
Brian, I'm watching you.
Smart man.
I got you, Brian.
Smart man.
Next up, you want to pay yourself first. We talk about this a lot on Good Day. The reality is most folks don't know how to save. So for working stiffs like us, the best way to save is automatic, and that means your 401k. Even if it's $10 every paycheck, get started.
What about the people who say, don't cheat yourself, treat yourself?
Well, yes. Look.
That's how I live. Hey.
So, don't cheat yourself, treat yourself.
It is important to use the occasional splurge, right? To keep yourself motivated. Absolutely. As I said, we don't want to be bunkered up in our basement our entire lives, or we want to enjoy life. The last little tip this morning is a study has shown that if you use this, it's called cash. I know most millennials don't know what that is. If you use cash, you will save about 18% on average versus credit. Consumers spend about 18% less when they're using cash. So try this little experiment at home. If you're having trouble, if you're a little bit jammed up financially, you want to get kick-started, try using cash for the next month or so.
Right.
And just see how much extra you'll save versus the plastic.
Because once you run out, you're out. So you're a little more
Exactly.
careful. It's true.
You're
Instead
much
of just
more
the
careful.
mindless swiping.